Welcome to Stanisllaus Football Weekly, brought to you by Alfred Matthews of Modesto. The #1 GMC, Buick, and Cadillac dealer in the Central Valley, Alfred Matthews has been giving back to the community for over 75 years. Now, here are your hosts, Brian Clark and Richard T. Estrada.
Rich, we're heading into Week 6, a lot of tendencies taking shape. The 2011 Downey team scoring a lot of points, much like the 2009 team, yet this team's 4-1. That Downey team in 2009, 2-8. What's been the difference?
50 points a game. That 2009 team gave up 50 points. Every night they were giving up 50, 60, 70. Here's a big thing. People said Downey didn't play a lot of defense then. They didn't. Their defense this year, it's not that great either. The difference is Juan Ayala. He's a running back. He was a sophomore last year. Not real big, not real physical, but was pretty easy to kind of knock over last year. This year, great stability. What he's doing, that I love, is this. He sees a hole. He shoots through the hole. When he gets out the other side, then he starts looking around places to go. I see some kids that see a hole, and they start looking around. It's like, get to the hole first. Yeah. So what's really turned around for them is now they can run the ball. That means they're actually holding the ball a little bit now. They're able to milk some time off the clock. If they get a lead, they'll do some runs. Juan's also become part of the passing game for him. Just nothing too serious, just some throws to the flat. And what that does is if that offense is on the field for an extra minute or two, that gives the defense a little more time to rest, kind of shortens the opposition's plays. Yeah. So their defense is better, but if you're looking for the real difference here, it's at running back Juan Ayala.
The Valley Oak League also taking shape, kind of a normal look for them, the two favorites, Oakdale, Manteca.
Yeah, you know, the VOL used to be the big three.
Right.
And then Sierra started to pick up, then we were going to go to the big four. It's back to the big three. Manteca and Oakdale both 4-0. Real nice schedules. Sonora's 3-1. After that, nobody's won more than a game. Yeah, it is going to be the perpetual big three this year. Manteca plays Oakdale in Week 10. Everybody's already looking at that one. Oakdale plays Sonora afterwards. Manteca plays Sonora before. But Manteca and Sonora are both playing good defense. Right now, Manteca may be playing the better defense. The question is, anybody stop Oakdale? I've seen him tear up Turlock, and I just saw him tear up Sierra the other night.
Oristimba. They lost some key players, but they look locked and reloaded as they prepare for this week's game against Modesto Christian. You know,
Oristimba may be the surprise team as far as they're 4-1 right now. You know, they rode the Pius brothers, as wonderful as they were the last 2 years, made the playoffs first time in 20 years, and we were all ready for that kind of Oristimba collapse this year. Figured you had your big run, you lost your kids, you know, good for you, now rebuild. Steve Machado, sophomore running back, he's taken over the program, has over 600 yards in 5 games, about 130 yards when they beat Houston last Friday night, 35-14. That Houston win was huge. That Houston game probably is going to be the one that gets them into the playoffs. It's certainly the one that kind of gives them the confidence when they play Ripon, Hillmar, Modesto Christian, Riverbank. They're those kind of mid-tier teams. Oristimba, they're getting done with running the ball, and they've done a real nice job of that program out there, really installing a winning attitude in just the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. This time of the season, the injury bug always rears its head. What teams are being impacted?
Turlock Christian lost their quarterback, Chase Gonzalez, broke a collarbone last Friday. That's always a bad one for a quarterback. Anytime you do that, you're done for the year. He's a junior, so he does get to come back, but what it means for him, he's going to have a heavy off-season rehab program. Central Valley's quarterback, Abraham Navarro, tweaked his knee. He missed last week's game against Livingston. That explains part of the reason why they only scored 21 against Livingston in a 63-21 loss. Patterson lineman, Pio Vituve, he's supposed to be back this week. He got his knees banged up against Escalon. They had a week off, which was real nice. The big one, though, Sierra's Anthony Cota. Big 6'1", I saw him Friday. He just tore massive holes through Oakdale's defense. If he doesn't go out, that game may end up 48-45 by the time it's over. Broke his left forearm, first play of the second quarter. He's out for the next 6 weeks, which is essentially the rest of the season for Sierra, unfortunately.
That's tough. Turlock, people are kind of keeping an eye on that program, and sophomore quarterback Sean Downs.
Yeah, you know, I've seen Turlock at some of their best and at some of the worst. I saw him beat Downey, Downey's only loss, and I saw him just get taken apart by Oakdale, which is now a very good Oakdale team. What they've done, they really haven't put a lot of passing pressure on Sean Downs. He doesn't have many passing numbers to speak of. He's doing some nice running. What I like that James Peterson has done down there is he knew he had a new quarterback coming in, lots of pressure on him. He's really tried to focus on the defense, get the running game, and just slowly bring Downs along. He sees Sean Downs not just for this year. he's like a 3-year project.
Yeah.
So we're going to make sure he's ready for the next 2 years as well.
Yeah, the dividends will be paid.
And Turlock, 3-1.
Yeah.
If they beat Franklin of Stockton Friday night, and they should, they're 4-1 going into the CCC.
Yeah. Grigori hasn't won a game yet, but they're showing some promise on the ground.
Yeah, Richard Caldwell doesn't really have a quarterback out there. They can't really throw the ball. And the unfortunate part is they have a Dominic Wash, real good receiver who's not getting the ball much. So what they're doing is they're using their backs, Drew Daniels and Darnell Gilmore. Both went for 127 against Downey, and those weren't just garbage yards. They both ran really well in the first half when that game, when some of it was still in doubt. Nothing tricky.
Yeah.
Just a couple quick backs. They're consistent. They keep pounding away. As good as those running backs are, though, and they're both very quality backs, they're going to have to get the ball to Dominic Wash. He's a kick returner. You get the ball in his hands, good things happen. He only had 2 offensive touches against Downey. He needs to get another 6 or 7. You run 2 reverses. You put him in the backfield a couple of times as a running back. You put him at the Wildcat for 4 or 5. Just try to do these different things to get the ball in his hands as well as those 2 running backs.
Yeah. Escalon is teetering on the #1 ranking, and we won't know what will happen for a month and a half now. The Trans Valley League is tougher this year, but is it time for Escalon to take a look at that non-league schedule and try to beef it up a little bit?
I think so.
Yeah.
They won the state title last year, and that was a huge one. Yeah, you really don't want to mess too much. You don't want to mess around too much with things where you're still climbing. But they got their section titles. They got the state title. They have a great team coming this year. But more importantly, their underclass levels are really good. Junior class coming in this year was just full of talent. They've got good skills coming down below, and it's become one of those Escalon, Oakdale, those kind of schools where every year you're going to be good. That being the case, it's time to get rid of a Lathrop or a Dixon or a Linden. Me personally, I would love to see him try to get an Oakdale or a Manteca or even a Sierra High. Sierra would be good because Sierra is not going to physically punish Escalon the way a Manteca or Oakdale might, but at the same time, it's going to give him a big league look. Either that or go to the Bay Area. Get somebody new on there, just one team, kind of you get people in town excited, gives your kids somebody new, and there is a point where you are going to want to need a win up there to show somebody, hey, look what I've done.
Right. Maybe De La Salle. Thanks a lot, Rich. And up next, his predictions of 5 games after a word from our sponsor, Alfred Matthews of Modesto. As the #1 GMC, Buick, and Cadillac dealer in the Central Valley, Alfred Matthews of Modesto is all about great people, great selection, and great service. They've been giving back to the community for over 75 years. Shop Alfred Matthews on McHenry Avenue or go online at alfredmatthews.com. Welcome back. Rich, let's take a look at your 5 predictions. First up, MMC battle between Modesto and Downey.
Yeah, I think Downey wins because I think Downey just scores too many points. Modesto will try to run the ball and throw the ball both. I think they'll have success scoring as well. I think the issue we run into is Downey is so capable of scoring every time they get the ball. I'm looking probably somewhere, 35-21. 42-32, somewhere in there. There's going to be lots of points. Yeah. Again, I think Downey's quarterback, receivers, those connections are just a little too solid.
Yeah. Franklin takes on Turlock.
Bulldogs should win. Yeah. It's a great game for the Bulldogs. Franklin's 1-3, kind of struggling. Turlock gets a win. They go 4-1 in the league, and they get the momentum. And they'll need the momentum because the league opener, Turlock has with Buhat Colony. Yeah. The defending champ. They're the favorites again this year. Turlock will use this game to basically just play very vanilla, win the game, get everybody out healthy, and then get ready for league.
Yeah. What about Central Valley at Patterson?
The big question for Central Valley is Abraham Navarro. He's got that knee, maybe going in for an MRI this week, they say. If Abraham Navarro plays, Central Valley is capable of getting the upset because they have enough offensive weapons. If Navarro doesn't play, I think it's really going to hurt because that dials down their passing game a little bit. All of a sudden, Patterson loads up for the run against Jacon Gardner. But one of the things that's really fascinating about that game, win or lose, is to see how Jacon Gardner runs against Patterson. He'll be the best back that they're going to see in league as far as just breakaway scoring threat. So I'm curious to see how the Tigers kind of contain that speed.
Delhi at Waterford.
Yeah, Delhi at Waterford. We don't often kind of go into those games.
Haven't been to Waterford in a while.
Waterford's playing better now. Dylan Gonzalez is starting to run the ball well. They're playing some defense. They kind of struggled early. Delhi, Yeah, they just kind of pound and pound and pound. Delhi is always a fun story because their games are quick and they're usually low scoring. They like to just milk that clock, run the ball. I think what happens here, Delhi's physical size is simply going to be too much for Waterford to handle.
When I looked at the schedule this week, there were a lot of not real, what we would say, great matchups, but this one, Modesto Christian and Ora Simba, this really looks like the game of the week.
Oh yeah, certainly you've got Nate Suffield on one side, going to Arizona, Caden Klein, Damian Bell White. They got a whole slew of running backs. Then you got Ora Simba. You got Steve Machado, the running back, will run well. You know, Dylan Martin is throwing some nice passes as their quarterback. Going to be a very high-scoring game. I think what it comes down to, though, having seen Modesto Christian play, I don't know that Ora Simba has the defense to stop that passing game. I don't know that anybody except for maybe Escalon is able to kind of shut down the quarterback back there. So I think MC takes this one, though, probably 10, 14 points.
Yeah, okay, well, good. It sounds like an exciting Week 6. Don't forget to join us on our podcast Friday night. Check out all the games, box scores and stories, and Saturday, Rich's recap, and Sunday. And Tuesday night, Rich will have his weekly online chat. So, for Richard T. Estrada and Brian Clark, thanks for joining us on Stanisllaus Football Weekly.